This is an issue, or let me put it this way, this is a process that's well guided by the Constitution in terms of steps that have to be undertaken to effect the removal of the public protector from office. It's not a matter that the president or anybody can conduct themselves arbitrarily. The Constitution lays out very clear steps that have to be undertaken, and the president has followed those, or has strictly followed those guidelines and stipulations from the Constitution. So I think we should look at it that way. Is it something that one will take delight from? Of course not. The Office of the Public Protector is a very important institution of our democracy. The expectation is that that institution is properly led, and the expectation is that that institution is able to dispense with its mandate properly, without any form of disturbance or without any form of interference. Parliament, or the Section 194 Committee, concluded that Advocate Mkhwebane had misconducted herself and that she was incompetent. And in that regard, the President, as I said, is guided by the Constitution in terms of his actions and how he acts. It's not an issue of emotions. It's an issue of what is stipulated in the Constitution and ensuring that those prescripts of our Constitution are followed in a manner that they are laid out. Yes, sir.
Charlie Marks from TASS News Agency. Vincent, about the visit of President to the United Nations, will it be the priority of the South Africa to raise the question of immediate reform of the Security Council and the entry of African Security Council?
South Africa has been advocating for the reform of the United Nations Security Council for quite some time. It is an issue that's along the lines of the reform of the global multilateral architecture, which I've alluded to. And so that issue will always be front and center for South Africa in its engagements at the United Nations and beyond. It's an issue that President Ramaphosa always raises when engaging permanent members of the Security Council. As you will recall, it's an issue also that found expression in the BRICS Summit Declaration. And as you know, the BRICS group of countries includes 2 permanent members of the Security Council who also agree that there must be some reform of the United Nations Security Council, and that the Council must reflect sort of broader parts of our global population. So yes, it will be an issue that President Ramaphosa will continue to advance. Linked to that, we are deeply encouraged with what happened at the G20 with respect to the inclusion of the African Union as a member of the G20. And indeed, the President sees that step as the beginning of the many steps that have to follow with respect to the reform of the global multilateral financial institutions, for example, as well as the reforms relating to the United Nations Security Council.